It's time to go home. We made one last trip over to the market. Check for some souvenirs. My coworker and I hung out at the beach for a couple hours while the other two ladies were at the pool. Taking in the last minute sights of the beautiful water. This gentleman decided to feed the seagulls. Of course, one tells another, and he brings a few friends, and they bring a few more. And we headed over to the buffet for our last lunch. And a chance to say goodbye to our server. He's a nice guy. I gave him my last few pesos as a tip. And we headed up to our room to shower and pack up our bags so we could bring them down to the lobby. Here are some of the old cars they use as taxis. And we boarded our bus, like the green one there, about 5 p.m. Sad to go. Last minute views. Goodbye, Cayo Santa Maria, and grand memories. It's a 2-hour bus ride back to the airport. It was a balmy 29 degrees Celsius when we left. Part of the trip back to the airport is along a 38-mile causeway between the islands and the mainland. And it's basically 2 lanes and a little bit of a shoulder on each side, and that's it. These red buses are the ones that carry the employees back and forth to the resort for work.
Okay, now we are on the mainland. This is a small community named after Cambaito, belonging to the municipality of Cayo. Remember that Cuba is divided into provinces and municipalities. Cayo, next town, with a population of about 50,000 people, and the main economical activity in this area, tourism, of course, because lots of people working at the resorts live specifically in Cayo, and fishing. As nobody lives in Cayo Santa Maria, people must travel back and forth every day, as I said before. This bus ahead, and the rest of the buses you've seen for the transportation of the employees of the hotels returning home. They have just finished their daily shift at the hotel, and then they work tomorrow. So they usually work 6 days per week. They have one day off. Depends also on their job, because Sometimes people work 12 hours in a row, and then they have one day off, and then 12 hours again every other day. But usually the working day here is 8 hours. From now on, the road will be a bit more complicated, though there's no traffic jam in our country. Lots of bikes, horse-drawn carts, that's what hinders the traffic the most in Cuba. As you can notice, no sidewalks, and people sometimes have to take the road to walk. You will see, you can see on your left new apartment buildings that have been recently made by the company Gaviota for the transport to avoid the long transportation of the employees of the hotel. So they are given the right to apply for one of those houses, people living in other provinces and municipalities, and then once they get the house, they pay on installments. So it's a monthly discount from their salary, and once they pay thoroughly the house, they are given the ownership. Notice lots of pedicabs or busy taxis for the transportation of people downtown to passengers. That's very common everywhere in Cuba. Notice a small copy of the Eiffel Tower here on the right. Yeah, it's a real copy, because sometimes people say in joke, this is the original one. People in joke, they say so, but actually it was made during one of the carnivals here in Cayo to represent Paris, and then they decided to keep it there as a souvenir for people visiting Cayo. Carnivals are very popular in Cuba, even more parrandas, which is a type of special carnival in the central region of Cuba. These buildings, right and left, they were mainly built during the 80s. After a hurricane passed by the area, and lots of people were homeless, and the government built this type of houses using reinforced concrete. That's the best material against hurricane in Cuba. Remember that Cuba is a third world country in which we have lots of economical impediments, economical handicaps. Notice the all-American cars. Lots of Plymouth Chevrolet. Some stray dogs, stray chickens, stray cows, that's also common everywhere in Cuba.
We arrived at Santa Clara Airport and checked in and went through customs. This is the main waiting area, but one of the ladies paid for us to go into the VIP lounge. It was very nice. Comfy chairs, free food and drinks, and an hour free Wi-Fi. We enjoyed that very much. We left just after 10 p.m. from Cuba, and we landed in Toronto around 2 a.m. to a chilly 6 degrees Celsius. It was about 3:15 by the time we got our bags and cleared customs, and we stayed by the airport in a hotel for a few hours until our ride picked us up around 9 a.m. This is a landing in Toronto. I had a hard time figuring out where different landmarks were in the dark. You can see some of the main highways, but I wasn't sure which ones were which. Here's a few of the souvenirs I picked up for my sons. And a few things I picked up for myself. And for a change, I'm more tan than my son. Thanks for watching. I can't wait to go back to Cuba.